Lights, camera, action. Do you wonder how films are produced and what really goes on behind the scenes? Well, stand by. Filmmakers Kevin Mumphrey, Victoria V.A. Jones, and Carson Hype Ferguson, local filmmakers talking about the world of film, right here on F It, We Will Fix It in Post podcast. Lights, camera, action. Do you wonder how films are produced and what really goes on behind the scenes? Well, stand by. Filmmakers Kevin Mumphrey, Victoria V.A. Jones, and Carson Hype Ferguson, local filmmakers talking about the world of film, right here on F It, We Will Fix It in Post podcast.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Whenever you're listening, I thank you for doing so. I am Kevin Mumphrey, and this is F It, We Will Fix It in Post. I am with my colleagues Victoria V.A. Jones.
What's going on?
And Karsten Hype Ferguson.
Sure.
Today we have a guest. He is the owner of Re-Roam Global. He is also an actor, photographer, videographer. I welcome Rome to the podcast. How are you?
Doing great. Good evening, everybody. I appreciate you all having me on.
So with all that you do you sleep at all?
That's a great question, and it's funny you bring that up. Honestly, I get probably about 5 hours of sleep every night.
Hey, look, just do it.
That's enough.
You take what you can get.
Yeah, but I mean,
I prefer to get 8, but usually it's 5 because I'm usually
you sacrifice that time. You sacrifice that time now for the later. I got you.
Definitely. Oh, definitely. Most definitely.
So, what got you in the world of filming?
That's a great question. A lot of different things. So I got to take this all the way back to probably around 2005. Right around the time YouTube began to be a thing. Back in high school, well, let me take this back to junior high. So I met a young guy by the name of Kenneth Granberry. We're still friends to this day. He goes by Kenny G. The first time I witnessed someone that could dance honestly better than Michael Jackson. And the way that he could slide across the floor, the way that he could wave his arms was just very interesting to me at such a young age. Later that I found out that this was a dance style called Memphis Jooking. So I took about 4 to 5 years learning and mastering this dance style. And once we got to high school, people would film videos of us doing this dance style and upload them to YouTube. At the time, I did not understand that we were going viral before there was even a word or a term. So it became a phenomenon in a way, and my great friend Kenny was really great at what he did, really great. So YouTube, in a very interesting way, sparked an interest into editing. So with taking a video and doing editing, I found a huge passion and a huge love for that. It was also a stress reliever for me. So I took that, took dance, I took that hobby, and I took that passion of video editing and decided when I went to Middle Tennessee State University, that's when I wanted to major in advanced editing. So I took a lot of my time throughout college learning how to do advanced editing. And along the way, I was inspired by many different projects. I can't necessarily say people. The only other person that really inspired me, and it really was a project that this person did, was the Kanye West Runaway film. I thought it was a perfect representation of his creativity and his art. And it was the type of thing that I just fell in love with, the self-expression of it. I could see, the beauty in it. So certain projects that people did over the years is what really inspired me and still inspires me to this day.
That's a great song. Like he had a number of performance projects that were really good.
Oh yeah.
Okay, now you said something that you really want to have to elaborate on for me. You said editing is a stress reliever for you?
Yes, it's an extreme stress reliever for me. So I look at editing as a puzzle. And for me, I feel as if editors are the people that make everything work, and not just in the sense of video editing as well. People that can create, people that can build something out of nothing. And I use that time editing to just master whatever that project is to the best of its ability. To some people, that may seem as a task, a very difficult task. For me, it's the total opposite, and it's one of the reasons why I'm really obsessed with it. You can give me the most difficult project that exists, and I just love tackling it and seeing what can come out of it. Most times, I think it's the fear that's driven in knowing that you probably can't make it as perfect as you think you can, but just having the patience to do it can lead to some, pretty creative things.
Yeah, editing is like a complete stress maker for me.
Well, it all depends.
Oh, it drives me crazy.
I don't like editing either, but at the same time, the craft is what pulls me in. So I mean, the beginning process for me is horrible, but once I'm into it, it's nothing to me.
I love it myself, and I share that kind of YouTube kind of sentiment, because my first piece was me playing some video games with some friends, and then I kind of had that aha moment, because I never had access before then, or
Right.
never realized I had any kind of access before then. It was like, oh wow, wait, hold up, let's see where this goes.
Right, because I used to edit. People don't know this, but I was very into wrestling, so I used to download some episode or wrestling matches off of YouTube, and I would edit them, and that's how I started editing. Learning how to edit. I still have those DVDs, you know what I'm saying, that I put on there. But it's interesting to go back and watch what you first started out with. Do you ever do that, Rome? Watch what you first started out with to where you are now.
I do that about every 5 years. Actually, I did just about the beginning of this year. I took some time out and looked at some things I uploaded back in 2008, and I was just speechless. Like, wow, I've came a long way.
You ain't lying, man. I mean, like, I look at my joint and I was like, man, it's a piece, but it's my piece.
Yeah, and you think it's the greatest thing ever.
Right.
And that's the cool thing about editing to me, that you continue to create, but you also continue to almost better yourself every time.
I used to actually get depressed a little bit after I got a little bit better than the first, because the first one I was beating my chest, man. Then after that, I said, man, this ain't nothing, man. And then I'll be like, it take me like 6 months to really be able to look at it and stomach a project I did.
You learn a lot too. You learn a lot through the mistakes that you made. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You're more.
Very true.
You're right. So, any tricks that you learned like earlier on that like really help you now when it comes to editing?
Man, that is a great question. Wow. It's really hard for me to answer that because I'm always learning. But as far as tricks, one thing, and I guess this would be for me considered my secret to video editing. I'm a journalist. I know I'm kind of skipping ahead a little bit.
No, you're good.
I'm editing projects every day, 5 to 10 minute stories in less than 4 to 5 hours. So I'm editing extremely difficult stories really fast. So one trick for me is that over the years I've learned that I don't tackle projects of video editing when it's in my hands, if that makes any sense. I'm already editing the project in my head as I'm shooting it. So that is just kind of my secret and kind of my style. And a lot of photographers that I work with at my job, they ask me that because they can't understand how I'm able to edit a 5 to 7 minute story in a day or 2 days and make sure everything is balanced and ethical and ready to be broadcasted. Because when I'm shooting, I'm already shooting the project to edit. So basically, as I'm laying down my project, as I'm ingesting everything, to me, it's already edited, shot by shot. I don't have to change much, but just really lay everything down in its form that it should be. And even for my personal gigs outside of work, I do the same thing. If I'm shooting a dance video or a rap video, I'm already thinking of which shots to use, and I'm trying my best to shoot it in an order to make the editing process as smooth as possible.
That's just like, when I write scripts, it's already formatted in my head. I just put it down on paper. So I totally understand that.
So at what point did you get to being able to edit in your head?
Probably around 2000, the end of 2012, toward the beginning of 2013, because this was around the time that I became a video editor at my first real job at a local news station, at Local 24 News in Memphis. And I was strictly a video editor. I edited everything that you would see on a newscast that day. And that was extremely more fast-paced than doing a story and doing what I do now as a journalist. So you're talking over 500 stories an entire day, probably 80 stories a newscast, different stories. And you're ingesting and editing these stories in less than 5 minutes till things air, or it could be breaking news. So that forced me to edit much faster and have everything in my head. And I guess this was another trick too, from a media standpoint. I would go ahead and look at what a producer was writing to. Even if they weren't finished, I could already process in my head, okay, they're looking for this source, this particular incident. I'm already downloading that video. As they're writing it, I'm, checking out the video, and I'm going ahead and using which shots would be appropriate based off what they're writing to. So that was one of the things that helped me become faster at video editing. News is probably definitely 100% honestly the reason behind me being able to edit faster and using that process of editing before I even touch, physically start to edit anything.
So you say you've done editing for rap videos as well. What's the difference as far as editing like music than editing for a news story?
Great question. Rap particularly is always changing visually, I've noticed. Rapping for me personally has been probably one of the most difficult things to edit. Dealing with artists, dealing with certain type of environments. It was something I personally had to stop doing for a year and a half, and it just can be overwhelming. You have to understand the type of artist you're dealing with, and just knowing
it's all the demands. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. I'll be honest with you. So it can be overbearing with rap videos, and like I say, the style has changed a lot. I remember like back in 2012 when like artist Chief Keef came out, a lot of rap videos were fast paced and choppy, just choppy. The camera movements were really fast. And it seems like now as things have transitioned into higher quality productions and just better cinematic, more looks to these videos, things are more simple. The edits are extremely simple. It's just all about quality and movement, and just some cool effects. I think one thing that I've noticed lately is that people are starting to use a lot of just graphics, interesting graphics lately. I think especially with the newer generation, and that's something I'm finding myself, pretty intrigued by as I watch, a lot of the newer TikTok style type of videos out here. So I just think rap is one of those genres of media where it's really based off the artist, and that's a very difficult thing for me to say because you're the director, you're the creator, you're the videographer, but you could find yourself in a situation with an artist where they want full control, and it could be a very difficult process for you to create how you would intend to.
Now, as far as like the business of dealing with an artist, like, do you have to like put all of like what you're in control of, or like all those expectation? Do y'all like have to put that in a contract?
I didn't do that when I first started because honestly, my dream was to always be a mega star videographer for like a big time artist. I wanted to be the Hype Williams for somebody. That was my dream. That was my goal. But I started to learn as I was becoming connected with many artists. This just wasn't something I wanted to do. I experienced a lot of traumatic things. I'll be quite honest with you. A lot of life changing things that really made me look at that environment much different. I took it, like I said, a few minutes ago, I said I took some time off, and I took about a year and a half off from doing videos. And right now, I've started to slightly pick that back up. And one thing I do make clear in contracts and even in person, verbally, there are no guns that will be shown. There will be no guns pointing at me or my camera or my drone. I don't promote that. I don't promote anything that's going to degrade African American men and women. That's just not what I'm about anymore. It's not about the money for me, and I'm pretty blunt on that now. And that's one thing. It's difficult. You know, you may have an artist that's willing to spend a lot of money, but I had to really dig deep into myself and realize that some of this stuff I just can't promote, and it's not worth promoting. So lately, I've been working with more artists that have, I guess, would be considered more of an R&B style of hip hop and more so conscious-based rap. But trap rap is something I've really almost eliminated from my creative process.
You know, I commend you for that because you know, some people just look at it, oh, the payday, or if I don't do it, somebody else will do it. I'm like, you know, let them do that.
Right. And it's not always about the money.
Yeah.
And that's the one, you know, I started out with music videos. That's the reason why I don't do them anymore. Because it's not, for me, it was never my end goal with music videos. For me, it was something else. You know what I'm saying? So the music videos is what helped shape me into my craft. But, you know, people will throw certain money and be like, well, I'll pay you this much. That's cool. But that's really not what I want to do.
I have noticed, though, like whenever certain people are throwing money at you, you have to be extremely careful. Because, like, I didn't sign up for this to be your, you know, slave.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
And you know, like,
very important.
Collaboration, not employee.
Right.
And you know, that's my biggest takeaway. And it took me a while to learn that. A couple bad handshake deals. But yeah, I'm sure you know something about that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I've had a lot of artists, they take it personal, you know, and I just told them, you know, it's nothing personal. But that was also another thing too, and I'm really glad you brought that up. Certain artists and rappers looked at you as more so almost a manager. I got to a place where I was not just doing a video, I was doing promo. I had to figure out locations. They wanted me to contact for models. They wanted me to book venues. They wanted me to, you know, do all kind of things. Yeah, way too much. And I had a situation where I was extremely underpaid, where I noticed it was a rap video shoot where everyone was paid exactly what they asked for, and I was lowballed to the point where I'm the one that was, you know, putting everything together. And it was probably one of the most scary shoots of my life. I'll be honest with you. I honestly thought I was going to die at this shoot. And I had a moment when I saw some things, and some of these things I hate to even really speak on, but they were just so traumatic. I had to really just soak in that moment and kind of ask myself personally, like, what am I doing? The things that I saw and the things that could have happened,
right,
could have been very deadly and extremely scary. And I had to really come home to my wife and ask her, like, yo, this is getting dangerous. It's not really good for my mental health and for my spirit and for my well-being. And after that situation, I just really realized, like, okay, this is not worth it at all. and on top of that being blackballed. So to kind of better explain that, basically when I finished the production, when I finished editing, this production was treated as if someone else was the creator, if that can make any sense.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, we understand that.
Someone with a bigger following that has done videos for people that are celebrities. I guess they were able to take this production that I did and create it, upload it to their, or pay them out and upload it to their account, and gave them the credits.
That's shiesty.
And I'll be honest, that was the first time I had ever really experienced that, and I had to really catch myself because, and this was right before COVID, and all of that, just that shoot in general, and even that, it was just an eye opener. And I mean, this was someone that I was willing to give some of my sources to, people that I'm well connected with, and it was just becoming overwhelming. This person wanted me to do too much, and when I saw that, I never forget. I remember my brother sending it to me, and I was just speechless, and I really was mad. And it takes a lot for me to get mad, but I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. I'm like, wow, like this person did not film this. This person did not create this. This person didn't almost risk their life just because this person has a name or a million followers or doing videos for the bigger artists. So that illusion that a lot of rappers put on was one of the reasons why I had to pretty much fall back a lot from that particular medium, because a lot of these rappers aren't really living this type of life.
Oh, trust me, we know.
That's another topic. Yeah.
We know.
So, yeah, that was strange for me, just really seeing people act a certain way and really mistreating the good people. And that made me really realize, I don't think this is what I want,
So let's talk about photography, because you are an excellent photographer in my opinion.
Thank you.
So
Thank you. I appreciate that.
what got you into photography?
Man, I will probably have to take it back to video editing, the YouTube story. Video editing was definitely the first passion, but I think that led into photography, leading into understanding in certain moments in film, frame by frame. I had a unique liking for, some of these frames, and that led me to want to study more into photography and flash photography. And over time, I'll be honest, I just had really not a lot of knowledge about photography. I had no idea. I didn't understand what an ISO was or shutter speed. I had no idea what any of that, how that stuff was important for certain looks. Over time, I knew I wanted to do something different. I didn't want to just be a photographer. I didn't want to just be a videographer. I wanted to offer almost an entire production by myself. So what I did was I took a camera my mother bought toward my senior year of high school, a little Nikon camera, and I just started taking pictures, my brother and I, and we always enjoyed modeling for some reason, and we would just go out, take pictures, put filters on them, I guess, doing what is Instagram right now, and just really sitting on these images for a long time, and we both started to really like it a lot. And this is in the middle of me starting to understand video editing, so I would reach out to some of my friends and just kind of have them help me, have them be a muse and just kind of be, models to help me, see whatever it is that I'm trying to do. And that sparked the beginning of Reroam Global, which was called a lot of different things way before that. But having my friends just be stand-in models for me, that helped shape and create, the photography part of it. But really, I think the basis of that was me and my brother really finding a liking to really modeling ourselves forward.
So for every single subject that you snap photos of. How do you come about the creativity of getting their best look out of them? Because you know some people aren't models, and sometimes you gotta coach them to get the best out of them. So how do you do that?
I do a few different things. Um, I pretty much scope it out before I even shoot with them. Let's say if it's someone that I find a liking to and I want to work with them, I'm already in my head, similar to video editing, I'm already processing, creating what it is I know that I want to do for them. People that book me, that tell me up front that they're just not, used to this, or they're not really, good in front of a camera. I take my time with them. I'm extremely patient with them. What I do typically is create a thing called a treatment. So people that are extremely nervous, hesitant, I meet up with them. I don't just talk to them on the phone. We sit down in person and we create a treatment. I have them explain to me what it is in their mind that they want to do. So we can get this on pen and paper and we're not just talking. And once we get to the shoot, they're just extremely awkward on what to do. So I kind of help them. I help them with things that I wouldn't typically do for other people. I will help them as far as finding a location. I will help them as far as on what they think they should wear. If they feel uncomfortable on whatever type of shoot it is, bring your spouse, bring whoever you need to bring to make you more comfortable. So my goal is making sure people are comfortable first and foremost, and making sure that they feel as if they're in a professional environment. And typically that has worked. I have had some incidents, but that has always been my goal, to make people comfortable, open up, and just to make sure that they know that they are working with someone that genuinely cares about whatever this look is that they're trying to get.
So, actually, what is would you say would be the difference as far as editing video than you doing editing for photography?
I would say now editing photography has become more difficult because of the push of social media and this huge Photoshop industry. It's stressful at times. I'll be honest with you. I think it's creative and it's cool, but it gets repetitive and it gets frustrating seeing people want the same thing. Everybody wants this perfect, smooth out body and face, and they want this look of like a celebrity, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I also think it's also taken away from very artistic and creative ideas that a photographer may have. But I also touch on just the Photoshop too. I think it's gotten just way too overbearing and repetitive. Everybody, creating these images to me, and I feel like a lot of photo shoots I see now, they look the same. Almost cartoonish, like if you really pay attention to it. And I think people have got to a place where they want that. They accept that. They like that. They want this perfect body. They want this extremely flat stomach, this extremely smooth out skin. There's nothing wrong with that. But I also think, it takes away from the art of what we do. Beauty is a part of this medium, but I think if we get too wrapped up in what's not really beauty, we're taking away from something that's the key component to what is photography, capturing moments.
It's amazing to me. It is amazing to me that you will have people that if you saw them in their photo shoot, you could not tell that they were the same person. Yep. That is amazing to me. I was like, there's no reason for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember working with someone a few years ago. I do this thing every year where I reach out to a few models to promote my brand, and in return, they get my service for free to promote whatever it is they're doing. And I remember I had an incident. This really woke me up to this whole Photoshop era we're living in. I was offering my service for free, and this young lady wanted me to flatten out her stomach. But I expressed to her that I'm not doing that because this is a free shoot. And I did not do that. And what was so interesting to me was that they went ahead and did it themselves, and it didn't look right. It just was, distorted. It just didn't look right because of whatever app or whatever they chose to do it with. That was really eye-opening to me because it showed to me that a lot of people are extremely insecure about themselves.
Yes.
And I think that's a topic a lot of people don't want to talk about. Photography, for me, is building confidence, making sure you're comfortable. No matter if we're photoshopping it or not. But I do think there is becoming an overwhelming amount of insecurity in this that I'm starting to see with extreme Photoshop. It's just getting to the point where things look just too unrealistic. But not to take away, from that, because that's just what some people are into. I just would hate for this to become the standard.
Well, it's too late now. I mean, because now you even
true.
have young girls that if they don't get more than so many likes or whatever, they'll delete the picture. There's older women that do it too, but I'm like that's more damaging for younger girls though.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, extremely.
And then
it can lead to a lot of dangerous things.
And then on the side of the boys or whatever, like they're seeing these perfect pictures of these girls and they think that's the standard because that's all they see. So they don't even know what a regular girl is supposed to look like.
Exactly.
Well, y'all depressed me.
Oh my goodness.
So
sorry to take you left field, man.
I mean, it's real, but jeez. So just staying on.
Sorry, I can get a little deep, man. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Just sticking on photography. So what kind of shoots do you like doing?
I like very uplifting images. Basically, just really that's my main thing. I like images that can uplift someone's spirit. I think second to that, creative images, things that are just different. You see it and you just go, that's really interesting. I want people to look at it and really just dissect, the colors, just the subject, the background. And I think last, it's two more things. GQ style shoots for men. That's something that I'm really big into. And lately I've been wanting to push for more swimsuit style photography. When I first started doing photography, I always told myself I didn't want to do anything that had implied nude and definitely no nudity. But I started to have a more liking for swimsuit style photography.
It's art.
Just to kind of, it is art. It definitely is art, and it can be done in a very, very tasteful way. But those are just some of the few type of photo shoots that I have a huge interest for, and I like to capture live. How can I explain this? Live events as it relates to public issues, rallies,
Yeah, those
protests, things of that nature.
the Black Lives Matter rally that was in Memphis. Your photos got shared a lot of the ones you took
Yeah, and I
downtown.
didn't expect that. Yeah, that was a crazy day actually. For those that don't know me, I'm for Black people. I've always been for Black people, and I will be to the day that I die, no matter what people say about us. And that day particularly, I didn't even know what was going on, and I was coming home from work, and I just saw, to me, what looked like over 1,000 Black people marching toward the Memphis Bridge. I had never seen anything like that in my lifetime. There were emails coming in from my job, people helping out, people coming in to work. I already had my camera with me, and I just decided to walk. I stayed right by the bridge, and I walked up to the bridge, and I started to capture what was happening, and I noticed a very life-changing historical moment. There was a lot of things happening at that moment, a lot of things, and I just started taking pictures. I wanted to capture everything, and I really had no intentions in posting it for attention or anything. I didn't even really expect for people to check it out, but I posted it that same night on my Rerun Global Photography page, and overnight it just went viral, extremely viral. I had no idea people were contacting me to use the images and everything. So that was a pretty cool moment.
Right. I can't.
Capturing that and knowing.
I can't remember like what of course I saw it on your pages, but I would see it on other pages that were like real popular, and I was like, that looks familiar, and it was literally your photos, and I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's a great feeling, to know that people find a meaning in it, no matter if it's for a good cause or a bad cause, and that's the reason I do photography. I want people to see these images and take in whatever information it is you want to take in. But, we document what we see in our lifetime, and these things will be here forever.
So
and that's what really drives me.
Transforming into that, whenever you have photos of yourself, do you have someone else take them, or do you self-take them?
So my brother has always been the mastermind behind most of my photo shoots. But lately, we've both been extremely busy. So I've been veering off to having other photographers shoot with me. I have a few that I really, really like. And sometimes for me, I just like connecting with other photographers. But lately, my wife also does exactly what I do. She's a journalist, she's a videographer, she's a photographer. And she's done some of my recent photo shoots and pictures as well. So it's pretty much a mixture. I never take any pictures of myself because it's just, to me, impossible. I never like setting up a camera on a tripod and doing a pose and waiting 10 seconds.
Right.
I like capturing, in the moment shot. So typically my brother, he's always been the one taking 80% of my pictures and still do to this day. And my wife, does a lot as well. But as of literally a year ago, around, when COVID hit, I started to connect with just other photographers and, just see what other people can come up with for some of the looks that I want for personal reasons.
So going into your acting career, how long have you been acting? First, what made you want to start acting?
So acting was always one of those things where when I was a child, I wanted to do. I never wanted to be boxed in. I never wanted to just be a photographer, a videographer, and all these different things. I wanted to model. I wanted to act. And who really inspired me to go after this was my wife. My wife did theater in high school and could have been probably extremely famous if she would have continued as a child actor, if she would have pursued it. She went to a lot of different casting companies and agencies as a child actress. And once she started to tell me these different things, I noticed that my wife wasn't really doing it. And we were at home and, she would do certain monologues, and it was really inspiring. I had never shared with anybody that I wanted to be an actor because I just did not see a way for me as a journalist, owning my own business, and Memphis not being this mega hub for films. I just always told myself, I don't think I have the time, the energy. But when COVID hit, I had a lot of time to reflect. And seeing my wife being so amazing at it, it really made me want to go after my goals, like lifelong goals, and not just sit on these ideas and these thoughts, because life isn't promised at all. And I've only been acting for probably about a year and a half, maybe 2 years. When I first started, I was just really creating some monologues, getting some headshots together, honestly not really knowing where it would take me. But I always told myself that I have to believe in myself to move forward with this. And I started joining different groups on Facebook. I didn't even know about any of these groups, like the Memphis Film Community. Nashville has one, Mississippi has one. And it got to a place where I was like, what am I doing? I need to maybe just kind of chill out. Maybe I'm doing too much. I have to always remind myself, like, okay, is this something I want to do for me, or am I just trying to do this for somebody else? And I really prayed on it and really came to the idea that this is something I really wanted to do. So, Victoria, you and Clarence were working on a project, and that was like really one of my first, projects, that I came out to, and it was a great experience. I just like the feeling of being in front of a camera, because for me, I'm very introverted. I have extreme social anxiety, and nobody knows that, and a lot of people cannot accept that. I don't like being in front of a group of people. I don't like being seen. I don't really like talking publicly. That has been something I've battled as a child. So I like to do this because it's another side of me, but it's also coping a fear in an odd way. And I don't like having fear at all. And that was really those two reasons: fear, seeing my wife do it. And I remember back in December, I saw a post. Well, I take that back. 3 years ago, I read an article that came to my news station about Will Smith and Jay-Z wanted to create and be an EP for an Emmett Till production. And I just kept that in the back of my head, because I said, if they do that, they have to come to Memphis, because of where he passed away in Money, Mississippi. It's just right down the street. So I always kept that in the back of my head and was like, I hope this isn't fake. This might be legit. And in 2020 of November, I saw a casting company for what is called Women of the Movement. It is the story of Mamie Till and Emmett Till, and they were looking for actors, background. They were looking for everything in Greenwood, Mississippi, which is about an hour and a half to 2 hours from Memphis. And they were paying, and all they needed were headshots, and I was just like, okay, wow, this is a great opportunity, especially for what I represent, as a black man. This is historical for me. And I told my wife about it, and she said, go for it. We sitting on all of these headshots, send it. You don't know. Don't worry about your job. We got to take some days off. We do what we got to do. And I submitted, and I heard back. I really was extremely speechless on, that I was able to really, book this. And I'm a very spiritual person, and it was something I prayed about. And I remember my first day on set. It was cool. It was a great experience, meeting some of these people and being connected with them from 6 a.m. to midnight to 2 a.m. Working every day. And I couldn't do every day like I wanted to, because I still had a career, but I was able to, take some days off and make it work. But what was so interesting to me was that they used me as a journalist, which is what I do for a living. So I thought that was just so interesting, for me to play a journalist in the 50s, and actually be a journalist in real life. And this was not something that I was booked on.
Right.
This just happened while I was there. I originally was supposed to be the person that held his casket. So once they, some managers came in and was like, we need an African-American journalist. And this lady just looked at me and was like, you're going to be the journalist. And I was just speechless, like,
that's cool.
What?
That is awesome.
Yeah, it was so cool. And I remember telling her, I said, hey, I'm a journalist in real life. She said, well, look at that. Wow, that is perfect. So I became, a journalist on there, and I shared some very emotional days on set. I mean, it was life changing, and I was able to get my wife a part of it. She just kind of wanted to let that dream go, and I said no. They didn't respond back to her when she applied, but I told her to reapply, and we were able to do the funeral of Emmett Till together in Memphis, and that was a very emotional and difficult scene. And they just dropped a trailer actually last week. Well, a snippet, and I'm really hoping that people watch this limited TV series that'll be on ABC because there was a lot of thought put into this. There was a lot of emotion put into this, and I know a lot of people feel as if they are exhausted with constantly seeing certain type of black productions and films. They always have to be depressing, but this series, I'm sorry, it's going to touch on a lot of different topics. And what I did appreciate about this project was that nobody held back. I mean, this is going to be as real as the actual incident was, and I think people need to really check this project out because it's a tough incident already, but this series I think would do it justice.
So, lastly, I want to talk to you about your movie that's coming out. What's the name of it? Oh, well, I know the name of it. I just want you to say it and tell us about it.
It's so funny for me to say it, but guys, don't laugh at me. But the movie is called Be What? But it would I can't really say it how I want, but it's the BITCH word, but I'm naming it as BIHHH with more emphasis on that, as if someone would say that, in a more funny way or
too short kind of way.
There you go, exactly. So the name of it is Be What? To kind of explain how I got that title, again, I do everything in my head, and I already had this script planned out, and I never wrote it out. I just never had the time, and I literally wrote this script in one night. I just had to get it out of my head, and I said, you know what, I'm going to do this. And I had no idea where to start, but I knew I wanted to have almost complete control of it. I'm putting a lot of stress on myself by writing it, casting, shooting, editing. I'm pretty much doing a lot of things, and I'm great. A lot of things that I'm grateful. I got people, like Victoria and other people that are helping out, on this project. But basically, what this movie is about a introverted young lady that just moved to Memphis. I mean, it's a Memphis-based psychological thriller type of film. She gets a nice job here, and she connects with some girls that's very outgoing. They like to party. They like to have fun. They like to sleep with a lot of different men. And this is not her at all. But she is willing to go out with them and try to explore another side to her. But what she starts to notice is that her boss wants to basically give her a better position at her job, and she finds herself stuck in what would soon to be a sex cult. It does a complete 360. But
get you.
This, say it again.
I said that's how they get you.
Oh yeah, that's exactly how they get you. And what this movie really is that it is a part 2 actually to the original movie that I wanted to do. The original movie that I wanted to do is far more complex and difficult and has a lot of sex in it. So what I'm doing is basically kind of jump into the future and doing this film, and it'll have some sneak peeks of what I wanted, the first film to be about, and touching on some topics in the sex culture of African American men and women that really hasn't been dealt with. And really, this film as well, it's not just about sex trafficking, but I'm really touching on topics of sex, perversion, lifestyles, things that just hasn't really been talked about. And I want people to just take that message away and understand how important it is to know who you are and to not live for this world or for social media.
That's super important, especially in today's age. Because I'm seeing people just doing everything, man, for the gram, if they would call it. You'd be like, yo, it's just like the streets. They don't love you.
Yeah, and these people you connecting with, you don't know who they are. You don't know what they may be dealing with or what they into, and that's
Right.
what this project tackles. We do so much to get on or to network or connect with this person. There's a limit to that. You need to be very careful on who you're dealing with.
And also about energy. You know,
Yeah,
I am a firm believer of transferring energy. So, who you lay with, you
oh yeah,
transfer your energy to that person, or you receive their
exactly.
energy. So it's a lot. It's a lot.
And there's a lot
Oh
of
yeah,
people that I heard the term a long time ago, emotional vampires. But
Yeah.
like that, it's almost like they'll steal your whole life force now.
there you
Like
go. Yeah.
yeah, like they're vampires when it comes to like you. They will drain you
Oh yeah,
down and then leave you as like, over there to the side when they done with you.
Yeah.
exactly, and that's exactly what I'm touching on. All of that.
Okay, I wonder, because you've mentioned your wife quite a few times here. Why don't you kind of more expound on how important your wife is to your career?
Man, I honestly probably wouldn't be alive. I'll be quite honest with you. It's just really that simple. I mean, having, no matter, if you have a husband, a wife, whatever your preference is, I think having somebody in your life that supports you indefinitely and loves you indefinitely is extremely important, in today's society. My wife we've been through it all, but what I noticed was through all of that, it was for us to be together. And with some of the things I've experienced over the past few years, if she, wasn't by my side, I don't know where I would be right now. So she has supported me through it all, even when sometimes, it feels as if it's a lot, but I always remind her, that there's a bigger picture to what I do, not just doing things to be doing things for other people, but for us to, also run a business, but to also live out our dreams. I'm 30 years old and I don't expect, to be leaving this place anytime soon. And I do want to touch on that too. I didn't talk about this, but another one of the reasons why I do so much and I try to go so hard is because I battle a severe allergy illness that a lot of people in the world don't have. It's called chronic idiopathic urticaria. Basically, what that means is if you guys were allergic to a banana and you ate it, you're about to have an allergic reaction. However, I can have an allergic reaction to myself at any time of the day. It can be mild, it can be severe, and it can be deadly. The cause is unknown, the cure is unknown. Um, Doctors for the longest thought I would not make it to be 25. And for a while, I thought I was going to develop cancer and not be here. Um, when I started to study this illness and get to the root of it and understand what is this, um, I started to not take that in. I started to make sure that doctors would not tell me how long I would live my life. And my wife was an extremely important person on me getting to a place where I stopped believing in a doctor telling me my future. And I'm 30 years old. I'm still here, um, still healthy, still making it work. And my wife has definitely been the real backbone behind me staying motivated, staying on top of my game, and wanting to pursue my goals because I've had a lot of friends and even family kind of go, man, what are you doing? It just seems like you're just doing a lot of stuff, but I'm not. These are my goals, these are my dreams, and when you feel as if your life is limited, you know, you start to look at the bigger picture.
Right.
There's really no time to sit around and be depressed about it. Because I had to really face that reality. I did get extremely sick at one point, and I didn't know what was going on with me, and doctors didn't know either. But I was blessed and connected with Dr. Sabi. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with him before he passed away. He's a natural doctor, herbalist. Um, he helped me a lot, a lot. His detox was probably the best thing that ever happened to me from any medicine I ever, took to, help. So I'm extremely grateful just to be here, just to be alive, just to share, these talents, these photos, these, videos, and that is why I titled my business Re-Roam Global. Rome isn't just my nickname, but Rome, encompasses me doing everything. I'm roaming around. I'm not just doing stuff to be doing stuff. I am jumping from here to here to here because this is something that I, Rome, want to do. And global, that's where I really want to take it. And that's the goal, with what I do in the next 2 to 3 years. I'm looking toward, doing what I do globally.
All right. So we like to ask our guests to, as a final question, to kind of pretend that they've won an Oscar and for them to kind of give us an Oscar speech.
What would be your Oscar speech?
It'll be extremely simple. First, I would like to thank God, my wife, my family, and most importantly, this Oscar is for every African-American woman and man that did not have the opportunity to pursue their dreams and their talents. That's it.
That works. All right. But thank you for taking time out to talk to us today.
No problem. I appreciate you guys. I had a great time. Some really insightful, questions you guys had. So I'm grateful and I appreciate that.
And I'm Kevin Mumphrey with Karsten Hype Ferguson and Victoria V.A. Jones. This is We'll Fix It in Post. And that's a wrap.